That's why I've been quiet. I'm ready to talk, but we're saving it.
It all started in 84.
Is that when you were born, 1984?
84.
Nice.
1984.
I'm not the
84.
youngest.
Well, I'll be
Thank you.
damned.
How old are you, bro?
I'm young.
I mean, how young do you feel?
I feel amazing. I'm 39, man.
Damn.
Yeah.
You 39?
Yeah, but you know what? I have blonde hair. Yeah, any grays, they don't show up. But you, on the other hand,
Yeah. It's
you look
knowledge.
wise
it's knowledge,
AF.
Bro. It's knowledge, bro. It's knowledge.
That's why you can pull off the sensei. 'Cause people are
the
like,
sensei. I like that.
this
I don't like
motherfucker's-
it, man.
He's 60.
Yeah.
So guys, we were just talking real quick about the first time you saw me. Wasn't in person, but you know, Uriah has been. It's kind of crazy, man. I grew up my whole life, never met any Uriahs. Every once in a while, I'd hear like, "Oh, I knew someone named Uriah," or this or that, like, but rarely. And I'd never met another Uriah.
Never.
And all of a sudden, my twin brother looks just like me, pops up in the UFC.
From another mother.
From another mother, Uriah.
Just so you know, I got shipped to Africa when we were young, and you know, I stayed there for a while. Noticed the tan.
He
shit.
got extra tan.
No, but honestly, like, you know, there's a kinship right away because we had the same name, which is a very unique name, and and like personalities, and you know, we hit it off right away. We've had a lot of fun. You know, anytime we see each other, we make time to hang out and BS a little bit. And of course, it started with the name, but there's a like personality. And that's funny. You were saying the first time that you were exposed to the real Uriah.
The real Uriah, one of the Uriahs that God put on this planet. That I was in the subway in New York City. I was probably a kid, like maybe 17, maybe. And then I saw, was it Muscle Farm or something like that?
I think it's K-Swiss.
K-Swiss. But I remember seeing a picture of him like this, and you were throwing a punch, and the caption said, "If you want to know how hard Uriah hits, just run head first into this wall." And I was like, yo, that's cool.
That was
Another
in New York?
dude. That was in New York.
Yeah, that's a clever ass idea. Write that down,
funny.
Jay.
So that's why I was like, oh my God, there's another Uriah, and he's white. All right, that's cool. Gotta meet this guy. So it was awesome that I met him.
That's cool. And so you're 17 at this time, you think?
Yeah, I know I was younger. Yeah, I know I was younger. I was in karate.
We could probably figure it out if I figure out that campaign and figure out how old the difference is and everything else. But so you've got before we got on the podcast, you're like, what do you want? Do you want Jamaican Uriah? Do you want ghetto Uriah? Do you want
ghetto Uriah?
Educated white Uriah?
Educated.
What do you need
I didn't
from
say
me?
white. I said educated.
You could be white. You could be anything you want, brother.
Hey, Chip, what are you talking about here?
All of a sudden, he tightens his glasses up. He's like,
But-
well, actually.
Well, listen here, guys. I think that we should just go in there and go hard. I mean, I'm down.
But so you actually grew up. You were born in Jamaica.
Yeah, I was born in Jamaica. I came to the States around 1997, and upon arrival, you know, where I landed was Jamaica Avenue, and I thought I didn't leave the country. I was like, what the hell? I got off the plane and it says Jamaica again. And I'm like, did I leave?
That was just haphazard. That just happened.
Yeah, I mean, it says Jamaica Avenue when you land in New York. I think it's JFK.
Okay.
But I saw
JFK,
Jamaica and
yeah.
I thought, wow, I didn't leave the country. What the hell was all that flying around the sky for? And then I saw my mom, and you know, it was just a cool moment.
Was
and
she already there?
Yeah, my mom was here already, and my sister was
Okay,
here.
so give us the breakdowns. You got a lot of brothers and sisters. How many brothers and sisters?
five boys, 2 girls. It's actually 6, but the oldest one died like years ago.
Okay.
And I'm the last one.
Nice. I'm the baby.
I want
I'm
to
the
like
last
the
one.
baby?
kill me.
I'm the last one, but yeah, it's been crazy how when we were all kids and stuff. My sister was the first to come, my older sister, and then my mom, and then my younger sister came, and then all of us was back there. We spread out a little bit, and then years later, my mom sent for me, and yeah.
Wow, that was just to make a better life, or what was that about for the?
I think personally, especially for anyone that's outside of this country, they think that, you know, you go to America, it's a line of opportunity, which it is. And I didn't understand that as a youth. And my mom, of course, she knew what that was. So she coming to America from her sister, that was the whole theme of it, you know, better life, better understanding and all that stuff. So me coming into this was like, oh, I guess everything is better. Let me jump on board. But it's life too, you know, anywhere you go that's different, there are always going to be those different type of circumstances. And it was just a different environment. And, of course, New York City, which is the ultimate place of you shouldn't want to go when you come into the country, was just mean to me. It was like New York revealed everything. I didn't even know what racism was until I got to America. I was like, what do you mean I can't do this because I'm black? I don't understand.
Oh, really?
It was weird. Huh? It was weird. And the funny thing, it was other black kids that were doing this. I'm like, you black too? What are you talking about? We were a different shade. I'm like, what? It was just a culture shock because in Jamaica, we didn't even wear shoes. We wear shoes for like special occasions like church or school. I had 2 pairs of shoes.
Really?
Now I have like maybe 70 pairs I don't even wear.
That sounds like me. I've got a bunch of shoes. I try to stay as barefoot as possible.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's just, I feel like I love Jamaica. Man, the weather sounds nice.
You guys
you fit in, bro.
Do you have to wear underwear?
I mean, just don't let anybody know.
Do you have to use protection?
Oh, shucks.
You should probably. Oh, shucks.
Tune in live tomorrow. We have.
No, okay. So Jamaica sounds like a cool spot, man. I feel like I could get down to Jamaica.
It's a dope spot, man.
And it's weird. I feel like I have a kinship with anything beachy. Like I go to Australia, people are like, "Hey," like have a kinship. Or
I've never seen him without his flip flops, his hat. Never. Like
we sprinted through, what airport was that? It was like Seattle or Portland or something. And this guy, we had like 70 pounds worth of camera cases. Jay was with us, and this guy was outrunning me at a full sprint in fucking flip flops. I like looked over at him. He's like a spider monkey. It was ridiculous.
Dude, I survived a nasty beatdown in Indonesia wearing flip flops, no underwear, just shorts.
Beatdown?
I got in a fight. I got in a fist fight with started out with one guy, then ended up with 3 guys, ended up with 12 guys, ended back with 3 guys, and I got jumped in a taxi and I took off. But I did all that, lost my shirt, lost my hat, lost my sandals halfway through. It was just a pair of shorts. So I've had to boogie down in
what did you even do to even?
Man, that's a long story. I didn't do much. It's like a 10-minute story. I don't want to steal your thunder here. But basically I was there by myself, dancing with some chicks, and some guy was trying to pick a fight with me. I let it go for a little bit, and finally I was like, "Dude, what's your problem?" Got in a fight with one guy, got in a fight with 3 guys, and that ended up getting to be a fight with 12 guys. And I was running, and I was fighting, and I was running and fighting, and I finally got away. So it was, I learned my lesson. Be the bigger man. But anyway, so when you're in Jamaica, what does your family do for a living out there? Is it a touristy place or fisherman, or what's going on?
Fisherman. Fisherman.
He's like, it's an island.
He just said fisherman.
Go to Alaska, you're a fisherman. You're right.
You're right. Listen, me and my best friend who died years ago, he taught me how to fish, swim. We swam in the canal. Life in Jamaica was just, I don't even know how to describe it. It was almost like nothing else existed. Like I said, the whole shoes thing, it wasn't important to us because it was like, oh, it's shoes. It's meant to be worn. Where over here, you go to school, it's like, what are you wearing? In school, high school, junior high, it's like a big deal of your appearance, And as a kid, I didn't realize that I'll grow out of that. There's a life after that. There's rent. There's taxes, But in Jamaica, growing up was, I had a lot of friends, and we used to, go miles to get water. And we had to carry it in our head or in our hands.
Really?
We had to pour in our drum. Yeah, because we didn't have a pipe.
Man,
if you had a pipe, you're rich. If you had water and you just had to turn the knob, you're rich. So we had to travel far just to get gallons, and then 4 or 5 trips ending at nighttime. It was fun, man. It was as a kid, it was one of the best experience. We made our own toys. I made
that sounds like a lot of fun. Greg, you'd like to
go-karts.
Travel a couple miles to get some water. Sound like fun? Greg's like, man, yeah, that really does sound fun.
No, I totally get the being in the outdoors though, and making stuff. I feel like that's something our generation had that. We got a lot of millennial. I'm technically an elder millennial. I'm 35, but we got a lot of millennials here that grew up with iPads. That was their childhood.
No one even says thank you. I've opened the door 4 times since I've been here. No one says thank you.
Really?
Anymore. I'm like, what's going on? Should I say, bitch, you fucking, or should I just let it go?
You're like, you're welcome. You just slam them in the door.
But nobody does. It's almost like it's not a thing. No manners, no nothing. And then I feel old. I'm like, damn, how old am I?
That's crazy. So when you're in a community where if you have some pipes to get water, you're rich, and you're covering miles just to get some water, I mean, until you step away from it, you have no clue that's rough living, right? That's just the way it is.
It is.
They want to, I could see, what happens. A lot of guys that come on our team that want to become fighters, etc. They end up mooching off their chicks. Some of these guys, like the guys that don't make it most of the time, mooching off their chicks. I feel like
I'll do that. Let me know.
I'd have found some.
You're like,
I'd have found some.
Where they at?
I'd have found a girl with some water, like some pipes. Found some girl with some water, some.
You got a pipe. You got a pipe. You got a pipe. You got a pipe.
And wined and dined her. Bring her some. I don't know. Go catch something out of the
canal.
Spectacular out of the canal.
Catch a fish.
Dude, that's a trip. So how long were you there? You were there for.
He was 13.
So you're 13?
Yeah, I was there till I was 13 years old. I moved around a lot. Moved around my grandfather, my grandaunt, my dad. Finally, I settled with my mom. I don't know. Even recently, maybe a few months ago, I was talking to my coach about it, and I said, sometimes I don't feel like I have a place.
Yeah.
I moved from New York City to California, and I just moved to Las Vegas, I want to say 2 years ago, and I'm easy to adapt, but I don't have that home. I'm sure you're born in, where were you born? Is it Sacramento?
I was born in Santa Barbara, but raised in Sacramento. All California.
So that's like your home, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I don't have that, because if I have like 5 years here, I have 10 years here, or 10 years here. So I don't have that there. But my coach said to me that home is where you train at.
Yeah.
And I just looked at it like that psychologically.
Yeah, I like that. And something that's interesting to me, I had to do a study in school where I had to, because I was a human development major. So you're looking at a community of Mayan, and I've talked about this before on the show, of like native Mayan, native Mexican, the Aztec like people. And then you have like this Greek community. And in this one community, it was like a village raises the kid. It sounds like that's kind of how it was with you. You're saying I was with my grandma, then I was with my dad. I was settling here, settling there, and it didn't seem like it was unsafe or like a bad experience necessarily. Like it wasn't like you were like no food here, this and there. You were just kind of like raised by the village.
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, we had hard times.
How's that work?
It depends. I mean, in Jamaica they have certain places where it's like a richer community, a little more upscale, not as popular. Where I kind of grew up with my grandaunt, we had to go across the street and get milk in like a big jar, and that's where they kind of milk the cows and stuff like that. And we had to do coals to make fire. I mean, I got my hands dirty. I didn't really realize the importance of being a man now, but for us, it was just like, it was normal. It was just something that we just did. We didn't think too much about it. So I guess coming to America, it was more like coming to America.
That's one of my favorite movies to this day. I love that movie.
Your royal penis is clean, sire.
Prince Hakeem, it is you. Don't get me started on that. But I guess just coming to America, the whole transition, it was almost like America was like, wake up. I was like, oh, snap. Okay, I'm awake now. I got to make a living. I got to. It's
almost like ignorance is bliss, though. Would it have been okay to be? What would happen if you would have stayed in Jamaica? What would your life have been like versus coming over at 13? I'd
probably have been dead.
Really?
All my friends are dead. Pushed me to the edge.
Really?
Yeah. One of my best friends that I grew up with. This was maybe several years ago. I came to America. I was a little more established-ish, and I remember because we came from the gutter. I know where he lives, and that's where I grew up too. And he was saying to me, "Hey, man, can you help me out?" And I was like, "Dude, I got you. Kidding me? We came up to the trench together, bro. I got you." And I'm like, "Make a list. Tell me what you want." He's making a list and all that stuff. And a week later, he got shot, and it killed me.
I'm sorry, man. It's crazy.
It destroyed me, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And a lot of my families that are down there, they're saying, "You can't come back down here, man. It's different. If I go down there and I talk like this, they'd be like, "What the fuck? You got money on?"
Yeah.
It's sad to say it's my country, but it's sad. I gotta speak like Jamaican.
So it's dangerous, like
in certain parts, but anywhere you go, it's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we could go down to Oak Park and it's kind of dangerous. Or you go here and
East Oakland.
East Oakland, it's kind of dangerous.
Oh yeah, East Oakland. Welcome to Oakland.
That's crazy. Well, it's kind of cool that, for instance, I've known you. I just got like a grounded vibe from you from the get-go. But that makes sense if you're marching a couple miles to get water and
oh man,
and
I forgot
your friends
about
are
that.
dying.
I really forgot about that.
You really did.
I did. If I didn't say it right now. How could you
forget about that? Greg, would you have forgot about that?
What?
I mean, it was there, I don't want to say forget about it. Get about it.
No,
it was there,
Having to march to go get some water.
Damn, but for us as kids, it was nothing to think about.
Yeah, it's part of the journey.
Yeah, it was like, oh, we want some water. Oh, we got to go get it. It's not like here it was like, yo, you ain't got no water. You're broke. You have no money. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's like when you lose
Ignorance
a fight
is bliss.
and social media is like, you lost, you suck. Okay, this is natural.
Yeah.
Whereas a martial artist, you lose. Okay, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
How can I pick myself up to get better and move forward amicably?
Yeah, and sometimes you have some great performances and you still lose. Yeah, I mean, like you could have an amazing performance for you, you know, depending on the scenario, and still it doesn't go your way. Whether it's judges or you get caught or whatever, like doing so on. I've seen that happen a lot of times. But that's cool. Okay, so let's talk about you got to experience the good life. Yeah. Which is not a care in the world, which is childhood in general, hopefully, most of the times. It's not this traditional. You coming into New York City, the Big Apple.
The Big Apple.
And was it like I always think when Chael Sonnen has this, he starts talking about the Nogueira brothers and how he saw the Nogueira brothers came to America and they'd never seen the internet. And they tried to feed a bus a carrot because they thought it was a donkey and all this stuff. He does this hilarious slick. Someone made a cartoon to it. It's friggin' hilarious. If we can pull that up, we should pull it up.
Trying to feed the bus a carrot.
Yeah, I honestly saw him, Nogueira, trying to feed the bus a carrot. He thought it was a donkey.
That's Chael though, man.
Do they ever
Chael
have the internet in Brazil? They don't have the internet. Like all this stuff. But I mean, you're actually coming here now. You got to wear shoes, and you like got water like everywhere. Get out of the way of the water.
There's water everywhere. There's water everywhere. Yeah, it was a culture shock, man. I got over it. Listen, everyone has a story. You know, we all have our own stories. And just like in the UFC, I'm in a field full of lions, and we're all chasing the same thing. So we all have our own individual story. But what makes us so shining is that individuality of exposure, of how we use it. You know, like a Connor to the talking and the bullshit. Right. You know, or like you, that's someone that's unique and done so much. You were a champ in the other league at the time, and you crossed over and you've done so much. You know, everyone has their own story, and I just had a story, and you know, if your story, your past is just a story basically, and when you start to realize that, it doesn't really have any power over you. Yeah,
and so you talked about now one of the things that you do is you give back. You go do these anti-bullying campaigns, and you said something that was crazy to me about at a low point when you were 16, where you're thinking about some crazy stuff. Yeah. What drove you first off to, you know, rise out of you're getting bullied. You're
every day.
A real low place. What kind of bullying was going on? I never experienced bullying.
Well, it sounds like with your other story, like the low place partially came from your friend, you know, situation too, when your friend passed.
I mean, again, without that father figure, and you know, I was raised by my mom. She was single, and I had two sisters, and one of my older sisters left out of the house, and my older brother left too. So it was mostly me and my mom, my second older sister. I didn't understand bullying. I've never experienced it. I mean, we've never had to deal with it in Jamaica. I never had to. When someone called me names.
People getting shot, but there's no bullying. Yeah. You know what that means? They do action. They don't talk over there.
I've never experienced it.
There's different rules in different communities. I remember when I first got to college.
Yeah.
And there's some guys where in their neighborhood you could get right in somebody's face and dangle your face and talk a bunch of shit. Hey, you want to fuck with me? You want to fuck with me? And then other guys, somebody walks into their zone at all, they're getting punched.
Yeah.
Some people, they'll run. It's like in Jamaica, you don't get bullied, you get shot.
I mean, I've never gotten that route at all.
Yeah,
but I've just never had someone to what do you call it? What's the word here? Like demean me. Yeah, demean me. I've never had that where someone said you're ugly or you're stupid. I've never had that. So to me, it was like a culture shock again. Like what? And my first retaliation was to fight. I didn't know how to fight, so I would be like, what? You know, and.
Really?
It got to a point where the bullying became so bad where my mom had to come to the school. I started to cut school. I wanted to commit suicide.
To avoid the bullying?
To avoid the bullying. I cut classes. It was so bad that I contemplated suicide a couple times. I went up on my roof. I remember because my house has a fire escape, and you can easily go out through the window. And I stood there a bunch of times saying, just jump. But for some reason, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't go through it.
Thank goodness.
Because my mom used to say, if you kill yourself, you go to hell. You know, I was brought up in church. So I was like, I'll go to hell. Fuck, I can't do it. And another time, of course, I got beat up so bad on the bus. I got beat up so bad that another bully had to step in and be like, all right, that's enough, bro. Like a bully had to stop another bully on a bus to stop beating me up.
That's crazy for me to fathom. I grew up in Northern California, and was never subject to any bullying, etc. Like, how does it just out of nowhere, or is it making fun of you because you're talking different?
I think kids
speak anyways.
I mean, bullying can come from so many other ways, whether it's their lifestyle at home, if there's bad parenting, it can reflect them. So now they feel more inferior to do something to somebody else.
Yeah. Their dad's kicking their ass.
Their dad's kicking their ass. So let me pick on them. Maybe it's a lack of self-confidence. Yeah. I don't know where it really comes from with this kid, but he just had this thing for me. He was bigger. He was in the 9th grade. I was in the 7th. I mean, he looked like he was just he just looked like a bad kid. And then one day he just passed me. He was like, "You ugly, right?" And what do they always tell you? Ignore him. Because that's what I was taught. I was like, all right, let me just ignore him. It'll go away. And then we all were at the bus, and he came to the back of the bus, and he was like, "Didn't you hear when I said you were ugly?" And I ignored him. I just remember flashing lights. And then he hit me a couple of times, and he was just beating me up to a point where another bully jumped in. He was like, "Hey, man, that's enough, bro. Like, leave me alone, bro. That's enough." And I remember getting off the bus. I was busted up. I was bleeding. Of course, a bunch of kids were laughing. And, oh, shit, dude. Damn. Oh. And I'm walking home, man. And I was so fucked up that I said to myself, I'm going to get a gun. I'm going to kill this kid. I'm going to kill everybody on that bus. I'm going to kill everybody.
Wow.
And I walked 5 miles home. I was looking for a gun. I didn't know where to look for a gun. I'm searching. I'm asking friends if they know other friends that have guns. And I couldn't find a gun for a whole week, and then it just kind of phased away. And I was like, fuck it. Let me just, So I couldn't find a gun.
Man, that's wild, man. And it's such a crazy thing when you think about how that's just a choice that some kid made. Because we've all experienced things like, I mean, we've had different upbringings, et cetera, et cetera. Some people might be appalled that you had to go march to get water and swim in a canal to get some food or whatever the deal is. And, just experience build people. And I've met so many people that have done great things coming from tough places. It's just unfortunate for those guys that are out there bullying and for, the circumstances that they have come from, because at the end of the day, there is a choice. I know a lot of people have been around drugs, et cetera, and decided they didn't want to do it because of things. And there's obviously more to the story of why that kid was doing that kind of stuff, but it almost cost him his life. It almost cost a bunch of innocent people his life, because in Jamaica,
it's only action.
What you say? Action. You wouldn't even finish that. But it molded me into the man I am today.
So this was in New York, though?
Yeah, most of this was in New York City. That's where I spent most of my life. Yeah. So
where in New York City was it?
Queens. I was raised in Queens. And I moved around
really is
Brooklyn.
The movie Coming to America.
Yes, my name is Prince Hakeem.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, we were talking earlier. You're doing a little the Jamaican twang. Did you learn in Jamaica how to speak?
Yeah. So I'm very visual. English, right? Broken English, we call it. So I'm very visual, and that's why I learned how to fight from Tekken. Because when the bullying,
really? I thought you were joking about
I swear to God. Like I couldn't. My mom couldn't. Right?
Yeah,
my mom couldn't afford martial arts. So I didn't tell my mom I was getting bullied yet. So I was like, "Hey, can I take karate?" And she was like, "She couldn't afford it." So when the bullying got out of hand, she put me in martial arts. But before that, I was playing this game, and I was like, "Yo, I want to learn this stuff." So I would move all my furniture, and I would put in the VHS. Right? Remember those?
Yeah.
And I plug in the VHS, and I would play it in the practice mode as it's recording. And then I would replay it, and I would just stand and just practice. And I would practice every day. That's why I can do all that cool shit. And then once I started martial arts, I was excelling so fast. And they were like, "Where did you learn all this stuff?" And I felt embarrassed to say, "I stay at home, play video games, bro."
You're like, Tekken.
But now I'm proud of it. Tekken.
We have it in the arcade here if you want to play a couple
don't
games
even know.
after this.
I was ranked number 2 in the nation at one point.
Now.
I'm just saying.
Damn.
I was a nerd, bro. I was up there. But them Asian kids, man, them motherfuckers.
Dude, huh?
Yo, this kid be playing me like you're me. He'd be like this, just looking at me. Damn.
He's punking you.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. So you really did learn some stuff from Tekken.
Yeah,
I gotta play Tekken. I don't think I've ever played it.
It's up to Tekken 7 now.
Video games skip me, man. I went from
it's kind of like
Tyson's
a Street
Punch
Fighter.
Out,
Yeah.
and then I played a little bit of Street Fighter, and that was it. But I was like 2.5 years younger than my brother. So I never got my turn and didn't really care. I would just watch them do a lot better than I would. I'd get on there and I'd die. And I'd rather watch them like get to Mike Tyson and beat Soda Popinski and everyone else. So I somehow got.
It was an outlet, man. It was an outlet for me because I had nothing else to relieve that stress. So it was an outlet.
So there had to be some good people around you when you're in New York. Also, you don't survive that type of environment without some positive influences, some people that you can turn to and be like, all right, these are my people. These are people I can count on.
Absolutely, yeah.
What brought you into, again, when you started martial arts, you were able to somehow afford it. Then you had some leadership there. Like, what was your journey like getting from bullied kid to becoming the confident man that's on TV today?
Well, when the bullying got out of hand and I cut school and I didn't know they would call your house, my mom got the call. She was yelling at me. My brother was there. And I broke down, started crying. I said, I'm getting bullied. So that's when she brought me to martial arts. And right away, I fell in love because always as a kid, I always wanted to do it, but it was always something in me to do it. I just never knew how to do it.
Right.
And of course, I had a sensei. I had a couple of senseis, and they were all positive role models at the time. There was one guy. His name was Juris Puge. We call him Hightower because of his kicks, and I fell in love with his kicks. Because
Hightower, is that a Tekken character?
No, but that's his name.
Okay.
Actually, I thought his real name was Hightower, but his real name is Juris Puge.
Okay.
But now I know why they call him Hightower because I ain't gonna call you no Juris.
Oh,
Puge.
Hightower.
Yeah, Hightower.
Okay, I got you.
But they call him that because of his kicks. So that's what his nickname. He would kick
gotcha.
like Van Damme. He was the Black Van Damme. So I watched him a lot, mimicked his move. At the time, I had a sensei named Sensei Gravina. And I remember when my membership was about to expire, I dropped out of school. I love martial arts so much, I was like, fuck school. I'm here. Yeah. And then my mom was like, do you want to go back to school or do you want to finish this? And I was like, I guess I go back to school because I need a paper and to be successful and blah, 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 robot. And I had a meeting with my sensei. And we left that room with more classes. I had 1 classes, and I left that room with like 500 classes. I don't know how he did it, because he said to me, you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. School is not for everybody. It's not. If you want to make that decision, no problem. I think you're good at this. You can pursue this, and you can still do that. But the energy that you have and the mindset, I think you can go far. He pushed me. I never wanted to be a fighter.
Right.
Because I was scared.
Really?
You crazy? I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah.
And then he was like, you can do it.
Fighting on the bus, and you're like,
yeah, I don't want to do that. But he pushed me. He was like, I want you to do tournaments. I was like, I don't know, Sensei, man. He's like, you need to start doing things you're afraid of. I was like, yeah, but I'm scared of it. He pushed me into it. Huh. Before that, I was beating up black belts, and I was like a colored belt. And I was like, Sensei, why am I beating these guys? They're black belts. And he's like, the belt doesn't mean a thing. It's what you have up here. So he was like that sensei that opened my mindset to a lot of things.
This is like Bruce Leroy.
There you go.
We got Coming to America, Bruce Leroy. Is there any more cliche movies starring young black men?
Wow, John Connor, get out of here.
You got some Governator in there. I like that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Have you ever thought about getting into entertainment stuff at all?
I would love to, man. It's all about opportunities. I don't know really how Hollywood works. I'm a free agent.
Do.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I gotta hang out with you, bro.
Guy.
We should have our own show. You special or something.
Yeah,
or Uriah and Uriah.
Yeah, salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper. Because me and Kelvin thinking I opened up a store. We're gonna call it Blacksy Can.
I like that.
Nice.
But I would love to get into entertainment. I've done a couple movies, and the guys were like, "Oh man, you're so natural at it." Because I'm visual. Yeah. I can mimic. I can stand how people are. I can mimic easily. So I would love to get into it.
Yeah, there's a whole industry. I mean, I'm in no means like becoming a big name actor or anything, but I'm learning the business of it, and I've talked about it on the show before of how it works. And unlike when I started mixed martial arts, like you said, the sport's new. The trail to get where we are at the highest level is getting more clear. But when I started, it was Indian casinos. It was illegal in California, and you had to like sell T-shirts and sell tickets and do this and do that. But there's no clear path. In entertainment, I've been learning a lot about it, and so it's interesting. We can have a discussion about that at some point.
Hell yeah.
I just put Feely in a film. I just watched the final cut of it. Yeah. I'm not in the film. I was just producing it. And
I saw you in Rampage.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it sucks what happened to you, but
I'll be all right.
The wolf.
I didn't know it was you. I was like, why did I know that motherfucker?
Oh really?
Because your haircut, you had the mohawk.
And
all us white guys look the same.
All us white guys.
That's too funny, man. But yeah, that's cool. So that's a possible option. Obviously, you're still fighting, and so you started with a sensei. It was pushing you to do competitions.
Yeah.
And then how did it progress from there?
My first fight was a NYPD versus FDNY. It was like
was this MMA?
No, it was a boxing match.
Okay.
I wish I had the tape, man. My very first fight, I was so nervous. They were gonna not let me fight because I was just shaking, and it was a FDNY. I was on the fire department team, and I knocked out a cop. So it was a cool experience. And back then, cops were good. So it was a cool experience. And, as scared as I was, I went through it. And I was like, man, that was the craziest thing I ever been through. And then I was doing kickboxing. And I was just winning. I was destroying everybody. But I got bored because it was too easy. And in martial arts, it was always that being comfortable with the uncomfortable. So I was like, I need to get more uncomfortable. And that's where MMA came in.
Isn't that weird how he went from a guy that is physically shaking and they're thinking about not letting him fight and what a mind trick to be able to go from that to making a whole career out of fighting people. I mean, and people always ask me about that kind of stuff, and I asked Makua, who's a big wave surfer in Hawaii, like, do you get nervous like going on these massive waves like could crush you and you could die? And he's like, no, man, I do it all the time. And that's the same with us. It's about just repetitions and repetitions. I know they did a study. There's a professor who had the biggest fear of talking to women. And so his therapy for himself that he assigned himself was he would go and he would try to say hi and introduce himself to 25 women in a day. And it was that was his thing. And then he changed it to making, asking a certain amount of people on dates and this and that. And he's like, you know what? Before long, it was just like a natural thing, and then I started actually getting some dates.
Were you this Professor Uriah? He's like,
thank God for Bumble and Tinder because I would have failed. What's your favorite color? I'm terrible at that shit.
With girls?
Yeah, I have no game. My game is my personality, and I think they just fall for that. I don't know how to be like, girl, your legs must be tired because you've been running my mind out. I don't know any of that shit.
Don't do that one.
Don't do that. I think that's the key.
You guys want to know the
I think
best?
that's actually having game, not saying stupid stuff like that and having a good personality.
So we're both wifed up, so we're out of the game. I don't know if you are too, but
I'm good. I want to keep my money, but go on.
Yeah. The best pickup line I've ever found out of all of them, because it comes off as not cocky, but at the same time, it's not like some stupid shit like you're running through my mind. Is you walk up to a girl and just introduce yourself and be like, hi, blah, blah, what's your name? I couldn't help but notice you. Because that's like calling them beautiful.
Of course.
But you're not actually directly
Take
being
some notes,
like, oh,
guys.
you're gorgeous, you have beautiful eyes, whatever. You say, oh, I couldn't help but notice you. And they're like, oh, well,
oh my God.
They're
Me
like,
only in the room.
That's like, you're hitting on
Would
them,
that
but you're
work
doing
in
it
the ghettos of New York?
I like that. I'm going to have to steal that.
I'm
I
telling
like that.
you,
I like that.
You bat 1,000 with that one.
I like
sure.
that, bro. I like that. They'd be like, I've heard you said that on the show. Like, fuck.
If we're giving tips, I'll give a tip, I think. Give a little tip.
Hi, my name is Uriah Faber.
I know. He's like,
yeah, right.
I can make you famous.
Oh, my gosh. Wrong Uriah. That's the right. Wrong Uriah. No, just give a girl a compliment, but mean it. And I do that with guys too. Like, I'm not afraid to tell a guy I'm like, damn, your eyes are cool. You know what I mean? Like being able to call it without a purpose of trying to get something from some people.
Yeah, just being.
There's a desperation when you go to a cheeseball move like that. It's like not what you said, but like the running through your mind or everything else. It's like
I don't. I mean, dating is
the only
so
girls
hard.
that fall for that are girls with no game.
Exactly.
Then you got a match made in heaven, and then you got to deal with their poor kid, man.
You get married.
That might be the kid picking on people.
Dating's changed, man. Everyone's just swiping now, and girls like.
I've never been on any of that.
Dude, you don't want to. I remember seeing a girl saying,
"I'm gonna put my name with your picture."
Dude, no, sometimes they don't think it's me. Like, okay, Uriah Hall, is this real you? I'm like, you know what, bitch, I'm out.
Let me show you.
But I saw a girl saying, what did she say on her profile? That I'm just here. First of all, she's posting like.
What platform is this, by the way?
This was probably Tinder.
Okay.
But she's posting like, like boobs are out, sexy pose. And then she was like, I'm here to make friends. And I wrote, bitch, and I'm here
money.
Yeah, exactly.
She's the one that has sex with you in the first 3 hours.
She wrote a paragraph about how life and stuff. And I'm like, do you know what you're doing? So she's like, I'm here to make friends. And I wrote, yeah, and I'm here to watch Pornhub to see if this plumber is going to actually fix the sink. Like, really? Like, you're here to make friends?
And she's like, that's my guy. That's the you back or what?
Nah, man.
Oh, man.
It's hard, man.
She's got standards, bro.
You can't be posting pictures like that. Like, it's like when you look at Instagram these days. I mean, yes, most men are guilty of looking at a picture like, oh, man, that's fine. But how are you going to post a nice, beautiful picture of your ass? Like, oh my God, I want to take those off and destroy you and post. Life is all about questions. You just got to go out there and find them. Bitch, that has nothing to do with the picture. What the fuck is that?
I used to make fun of people all the time.
Like, what is that?
My ex-girlfriend, she never crossed the line with that kind of stuff, but I'd be like, she want to put this post up, and I'm like, just put it up. Just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Just show you a nice little butt there.
Just put it up.
Disguise it with some meaningful thing. Like,
well,
you want to show off your nice butt like everyone else.
They feel like if they get the inspirational quote in there, they're
nobody
like
reads that shit. Yeah. Nobody reads it.
Nobody
looks at the words. I'm like, damn, that's it.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. So then your journey as a mixed martial artist, you ended up going on the Ultimate Fighter.
Oh man, so that was a trip. I got fired from my job.
Oh really?
Time. Oh yeah, I got fired.
Job?
I was a sensei. I was a mixed martial artist, and just I'm gonna throw them
mostly
under the bus.
Kids?
No, it was kids. I taught 3-year-olds, man. No one could teach 3-year-olds.
No,
but
that's hard.
I was like, bring him, because we only took him at 4, and we had 49 schools, and they were like, it was hard to teach them. The retention rate, I was like, I got it. And with kids, for them to have an attention span, you just got to give them a good outlet. Kids, they love game. If I say, which one of you knuckleheads can stand the best without moving? Oh, shit. They love games. So I couldn't be too, like, die, motherfucker. And I couldn't be like, hey, guys. I had to make a middle
ground. Yeah.
And sometimes I would look at kids and be like, dude, I'm going to hit you so hard, your mom's going to feel it. And they'd be like, oh, shit,
Okay.
But the parents would love it. Especially in Manhattan, they have a bunch of asshole kids, so they needed that shit. So I used to teach kids. I taught adults too. Adults come in, they always want to change their life. But I was honest. I'm like, listen, you're fat and you're probably gonna die. You're at the risk for clogged arteries, heart disease, and all that.
You're like the soup Nazi.
Bro, I was serious.
For you.
I was serious because they would come in. Oh, I want to train like twice a week and blah blah blah. I'm like, how are you gonna pay me? And just not train. Like, you wasting your money. I don't want to do that to you. I was serious. I was a fucking sensei. So I was dating a girl at the gym, and you're not supposed to date. That's what they said. It's just bullshit because everybody was fucking everybody, right? I mean, I've done my due, but I didn't do anything to an extent. And I was dating a girl.
There was a member at the gym after. She was already a member.
She was already a member, yeah.
Okay, and that's a big faux pas.
Right. Yep. But before that, I remember dating a girl that quit because we broke up. She quit. And at the time, my boss, she was really nice. She was really good.
Yeah, you're messing with his money.
Right.
You're trying to pimp man strong. You're messing with my money. Keep your dick out my money, dog.
It wasn't that extent. It wasn't to that extent.
This is your sensei speaking. Keep your dick out my money.
Then he's like, namaste.
Namaste. So she quit after we broke up, and my boss couldn't figure out why. And I was like, fuck, I got to tell him. And he was asking questions, and I just kind of came clean because I felt bad. He's one of my good friends. And I told him, and he was like, well, you shouldn't be dating anybody in school anymore. I was like, no problem. Meanwhile, everybody was fucking everybody and dating everybody. Even he did it. So I was like, no problem. So I met this girl. She was French.
Wait,
beautiful.
He was telling you couldn't, but he was?
But, like in the past or whatever,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But, like,
that sounds like he's
it's
trying
notorious.
To get a monopoly on the gym.
It's notorious because there's beautiful women, especially in Manhattan. There's models coming all the time. And, they're looking for that place of sanctuary. So I'm always, but I met a great French girl. We kept it on the low.
I met that girl, I think. No,
Karen,
blonde
yeah,
girl, a little bit older than you.
Yeah.
Beautiful girl.
Yeah. She was nice. She
Yeah.
taught me how to dress and everything. She
probably taught you all sorts.
Like
of cool
Pretty
stuff.
Man, Yeah, she did. You seen Pretty Woman, right? Yeah, that's what she did to me. I wasn't a hooker though. But anyway, he found out that we dated, and I was gonna tell him we were dating for a while, and I wanted to tell him because he was a good friend,
right?
And I didn't get to tell him, and he found out, and he was angry, and he fired me just like that. And I was like, "This is all I know." So I had nothing. And for like a week, I remember sitting on the couch, gut bearded up and everything. And, you know, she made more money than I could make in a month. And I remember she came home and she kind of threw me a laptop. She was like, get your ass up, go to the Starbucks, get on the internet, get a job, get your life back together. You're not the guy I fell in love with. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, shaved and everything. Did all that stuff.
Good woman.
She's a great woman, man.
Yeah.
I should have married her ass. But she... then they didn't want to have nothing to do with me. I could train in the facility for the team, but I couldn't work for the organization anymore. Fine,
Gotcha.
whatever. Then Ultimate Fighter happened, season 17. Someone sent me a mail. I think it was MMA Junkie. And they were like, hey, man, season 17 is coming up. I think you could do good. I felt this amazing feeling, and I'm like, this is it. This is my make it or break it. I had no money. I bought a one-way ticket to Vegas. And I said, I have to make it. There's no way for me to come back. I have to make it. And when I got there was only over 800 people trying out.
Wow.
And
I've been to those. They're crazy.
Yeah. So that was me again.
I like to think that the name Uriah helped out. Either subconsciously,
like,
consciously.
I mean,
They're like,
it did.
we could play Uriah's getting old. We could just get the new Uriah in. They look exactly like.
You know how many times people call me Uriah Faber? I'm like, one more time, bro?
Yeah.
Uriah Faber, right? I'm like, hold on. Uriah Faber, Uriah Hall. Uriah Faber, Uriah Hall.
Nice.
I get Uriah Hall sometimes too. Oh man, Uriah Hall. I'm like, damn, I'm out. The new man is in. That's funny. That's awesome.
Hilarious.
So then then that was that, and you were training at Tiger Schulman for a little bit at that time.
Yeah.
Is that where it was?
Yeah, Tiger Schulman's. That
was the whole time.
The whole time from start to finish.
So we just got some dirt on Tiger Schulman's.
Oh, dude,
Let me tell
you something. I've never talked shit about him, man.
Yeah.
But for what they did to me, they made me the worst. They told everybody in the organization I was promiscuous. I was sleeping with everyone because we were losing numbers. I'm like, including the men too, because apparently they were quitting. And meanwhile, they were raising the prices. They were raising the prices so significant that, and I think it was around the time that the economy wasn't doing good.
Okay.
So obviously they got to point a finger. He's fucking up. He's doing something.
Yeah. People were just
So the fact that I dated that girl and that happened, and of course this manager there that hated my guts, it all just pointed to me as the bad guy. So when I left, it was like Uriah's doing this. He's promiscuous. He's this. He's that.
Not only promiscuous, if there are other guys are doing it too, and you're the young guy in town and you're getting the hottest chicks, they're getting salty, man. That's called haters.
You know what? He has to protect his business.
Yeah, no, but that's good.
I get that
and
too.
That gym seems like a good gym. I fought Frankie, what's his name? He's been talking a bunch of crap lately. Jimmy
Douchebag Rivera.
That guy's been.
He wanted to fight me. I'm like, dude, you're little. I would kill you.
That Jimmy Rivera, I'm like,
he's a piece of shit.
No one wanted to fight that guy, and he's pretty good. He's like, he doesn't like do, overabundance of output in any different area, but he's good at everything. And we had a kind of a lackluster fight. He got the decision, and I was respectful. No one wanted to fight him because nobody cared about him. He had like his Instagram on private and this and that, and no one really knew who he was, but he was good. He beat a couple guys, and they heard that no one wanted to fight the guy. And I told him when I met him, I said, hey, man, I heard no one wanted to fight you. I go, you deserve to fight good guys. And I was being super cool with him. He's like, oh, thanks, man, thanks. Then we fight. It's a close fight. Not much happened. It was hard to get anything going on my part. He didn't do much either. His best things was ankle kicks. Like a year, 2 later, I hear him talking crap, and I'm like,
about you?
Yeah.
What's
and I'm
saying?
Like, just like, I can't remember what he was saying, but then lately he's been talking about Cody Garbrandt, and
he's just trying to get his name out there, man.
Get Cody to get his balls out of my purse or something like that. And I'm like, what does this guy do? Nobody fucking cares, bro.
Shut
Nobody
up, Jimmy
cares.
Neutron. Shut your ass
anyway,
up,
so
bro.
I didn't know the guy from Adam. The first time I met him, I was like, I guess it wasn't the first time. I guess I trained with him one time before. Somebody told me. Then when we met backstage, I was like, hey, man, good luck to you. I'm always cool with the people I'm fighting,
Yeah, you're Uriah.
Whatever. And then we fight. He won the fight. Respectful before and after. And then he's like running his mouth. I'm like, this guy doesn't understand how the world works,
I
bro.
call it the Connor effect, because right now a lot of fighters have to feel obligated to talk shit. I remember talking shit one time. It didn't even go well. Even one of my fans was like, hey, man, that's not you, bro. Stop it.
Connor's actually, that's really how he is, though.
Yeah, good for him.
In UK
but that's
and
not
Ireland,
me.
Yeah, they're ball busters, and like that's just how he is. He's not faking it,
Yeah.
And that's the same with the Diaz brothers. I remember
Oh, they're good with that shit.
But they're not doing it on purpose. I mean, they're not like thought out. They're like just being real.
Yeah. Well, I feel like people have just looked at it and they've gone, okay, why are Conor's fights so big? And it's because of all the buildup of the shit talking in there. They just want to emulate that shit. They're like, fuck, his press releases go crazy. He's getting drunk.
And then he brings a bunch of these crazy dudes to come over. I'm like, if any of y'all start some shit, Wakanda forever.
Oh, that's funny. But what's crazy is that whole thing is, like the Diaz brothers. They're just being themselves. I really feel like Conor's just being themselves, being yourself. But people are standing out in their own individual ways. How about like the current fight right now? We've got Cormier versus the Beast.
The Beast.
The Beast.
My balls was hot.
Yeah, his balls hot. Like that guy is.
His jokes are funny,
man. I love that himself,
dude. Yeah.
But he's taking it up a little notch. Nick and Nate Diaz, they're being themselves, but they take it up a notch. Conor's being himself, and they take it up a notch. I was being myself, but you take it up a notch. Meaning you show people what you really are about. Like you could have a private conversation, but then you put it out there. You're not afraid to like be who you are.
Right.
But his balls was hot. But he also has he understands what's funny and what's catchy, and so he's got his own type of genius.
I don't know how he came up with that about the Putin. He's like, I was talking to Donald Trump earlier about, he's saying I should knock this motherfucker out.
I know exactly what he's doing. He's great at clickbait-ish stuff on his Instagram. It's a great Instagram. He sits on Instagram and finds the funniest crap or like the most ghetto stuff or the goofiest stuff. So he's learned like what's funny and what you'll catch. And so I think what he was doing in that, he was being himself with his kind of sense of humor, but he's looking for one things that are going to be clips, because guaranteed he's seeing this stuff. He's like the Putin thing. His balls is hot. Where's Ronda Rousey's fine ass at? What Like he's got a million of them, and he knows what's funny because he's posting about it all the time. So he's his own kind of genius.
I love that guy. I love him, and he throws bombs, man.
Yeah, he knocks dudes out.
He throws bombs.
You think he's got a chance against Cormier though?
You know what? If I got to be real, I think Cormier is probably just gonna hug him and stuff. I mean, it's a wrestler.
I think he goes down to the ground. It's gonna be a long night for. I mean, it'll probably go to the ground quick. And
I think Cormier should stand with him a little bit, just entertain us, because we all know that wrestling stuff's gonna work. It's gonna work, But I don't want to That's the great thing about MMA. You never know. That's the great thing about MMA. A guy could be the best at something. He goes out there, boom.
Yeah, we were at the last Cormier fight, and we were like, oh, this is for sure going to the ground like super quick. It ended up by KO. Like it's
like what?
In tight fighting, nice little short hook.
Yeah. That's
Get
why MMA is so intriguing to me, man. I love it.
It's crazy, it's good stuff. So you have anything scheduled now?
Yeah, so I should have some at the end of the year. Find some contender guy,
Yeah.
There's a bunch of ways to look at it. You know, at one point you can look at it and say, they're building someone or they're building me. I don't even look at rankings anymore.
Yeah, I don't like
I'm
rankings.
like, a bunch of guys sit in the room and gave me a number. I got to give myself my own number. In my mind, I got to say I'm number one. So I stopped paying attention to that. I'm starting to do some different training because I've forgotten that I'm a martial artist.
Right.
And as a martial artist, you got to grow. And I felt like I wasn't growing. It's one of the reasons why I kind of stepped away from extreme. I'm going down there at King's MMA with Kelvin. Yeah. We spoke a bunch of time.
You moved to Vegas, and you've been training out of the PI for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Performance Institute?
It's 15 minutes, free
How
food.
that? How does that look?
I'm there for the food, bro. The food is free.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The food is
a lot
free.
of guys
I'm paying for the motherfucker.
The food is free, bro. But great training, though. I work with Bo Sandoval. He's probably one of the
Bo's
best guys
good.
I ever worked with, strength and conditioning wise. There's Heather. She does the physical recovery side.
PT stuff.
Yeah, it's overall great for There's a corporate section and there's the PI section.
Yeah.
It's 15 minutes from my house.
What are some of the hiccups with that format? I feel like it may be a little bit hard to find some structure. Like you're kind of having to.
Are you talking about the PI?
Yeah.
As far as like upstairs where you have the mat and the cage and all that stuff where you can bring your own coach in.
Right.
Again, bringing your own coaching is like, okay, is it structured to the way you like it? Yes. Is there a structural way for you to grow? We don't know.
Right.
So maybe if they have a better format for that or a format at all, maybe it could work.
Yeah, I'm a believer in, kind of the wrestling way of doing it, which is you've got a group of guys to sharpen with. You've got new techniques being brought to you. You've got a staff of coaches that are watching, and they have different guys that they have their eye on, and the cream rises to the top. And
yeah, I guess the problem with that is, there's different fighters that would come in. Maybe there's people that I might fight in that class realm.
Yeah, the PI.
So maybe that would be hard.
Yeah.
So that's why I said they're like, okay, bring your own guy, do this, schedule this time. Bring your own guy, do this. I just use the facility for what it is. They pay for it. I'm allowed to train for free. Fuck it.
Yeah. And now you're gonna go to King's MMA, and
I'm gonna finish out my camp there. Yeah.
Rafael Cordero is great.
I love that guy, man.
Yeah,
and again, not to take anything away from Extreme Couture, because I've been there for a while, but when I'm at King's, man, there's guys your size coming at me, and I'm like, what the hell? Now, a lot of people don't like that because it's like, how do we keep that retention? Who wants to go back to that ass whooping? But for me, again, as a martial artist, I felt like it's the same way I felt on the Tough House.
Yeah.
Because in the Tough House, it was like, shit, what's going to happen? And at King's, it's like, shit, what's going to happen? But with structure as well.
It's pretty hard sparring there. And
oh,
stuff.
yeah. I mean, but me and Kelvin, we can beat each other up and be like, yo, great job. You can't do that to everybody,
Yeah, it's a fine balance between getting that push. I mean, there's no way to simulate the experience of fatigue and the excitement and the adrenaline of an actual fight without fighting. Mm-hmm. You just have to be as safe as possible, but that doesn't mean you're not getting rocked on occasion. You just have to let off on the guy. You have to wear bigger gloves, bigger headgear, mouthpieces, and that kind of stuff.
Chill. Yeah. I have this rule. Like, I won't let you know you're going hard, but I'll give you a one good pop. Like, bang, you good? You good? Yeah. That will let you know you're going hard.
Yeah, I heard you tell Luke Brewer that today. We got Luke Brewer. Cool. He's like a 6'6", like, dude. Lurch. I mean,
he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's tall.
He hits hard, man. I was like, damn. But it's not my house. I don't want to be that guy.
Well, he's not like, you talk to him. He's not good enough yet, which he will be because he works his butt off to know how to pull back. And I remember being there also where, like, you can't go halfway into a technique if you don't know how to do it with control.
Right.
It's either like you have to go or you don't go. So he's been learning on that, and it was good for you to come in and give him some look because we have a lot of big guys. Big guys are injured. That it's hard for them to get in consistently for some reason. I don't know. And Luke's a guy that's always in there pushing, so it was good for him to get a little feedback from you and a good look. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was fun.
And it was cool. And Uriah just hit me up out of the blue, and he's like, "Hey, bro, like, what's going on? What's going on tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Just chilling." He's like, "What's up in the Sacramento area?" I said, "I have people over to my house, cruise through." And then he hit me up this morning. He's like, "Hey, you guys training this morning?" I think it's cool you just do that. You're just on a little journey. Yeah. And you just go out to experience new places. Is that kind of a life? Do you set a goal of like, I'm going to go see a new place on this occasion, or sometimes you just need to get out and experience things? How does that work?
So what I do sometimes is I'll jump in my car and I get lost. Yeah. And what that does for me psychologically, it resets me in a way where I realize what's important. Like, for instance, one time I lost my wallet and my ID and everything's attached to it. I left it in my car. I drove off. I was on the highway, and the Bluetooth got detached. And that's when I was like, oh, my God, my phone was on the car. I'm trying to drive on a highway looking for a phone. Couldn't find anything. I must have saw a glimpse of the case. Didn't find the phone. Didn't find my card. Around that time, I had no way of communicating, nothing. I remember a friend's number, and I said, hey, can you help me out? Find something. Drove me to a place for a hotel. The guy was like, dude, I'm a huge fan. I know who you are, but I can't sign you up. You have no ID or nothing. And in that time, I realized, wow, an ID, that's who I am? Like, an ID and a freaking credit card and a phone, that's who I was, So I had a moment where I was like, wow, without this, I would have been nothing. And, of course, I realized who really was like, yeah, dude, here's, like, Kelvin was like, oh, yeah, here's $400, bro. Like that. It wasn't even a thought. And that's why my circle got even smaller. But I jump in my car because I want to get lost sometimes, and I just drove, and I somehow ended up in Sacramento.
That's crazy.
And I was like, man, I'm driving fucking far. Where am I? Oh, shit, Sacramento. And
dude, that's a trip. You ever have a inkling to want to just jump out and like just? I mean, I have.
It's crazy, man. All right. It's crazy.
But responsibilities for me are getting more and more. And I remember when I first started in the fight game, I was like, as chill as it got. You know, I didn't have much responsibility. As time goes on, you get more and more stacked. But I think it'd be nice to kind of get lost like that sometime.
Yeah.
Imagine what would happen.
Just shut my phone off. You know, I know I had priorities, calls, USADA. I'm like, man, screw that. I just stopped for a second. And
for those who don't know, USADAs are anti-doping.
They check on you all the time.
Anti-doping walking prison.
Yeah, they're like, you leave your little area, you have to notify them that you're leaving.
Oh, my God.
You know, everything else.
It's like having that bracelet around your ankle.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I still am in testing, even though I'm retired, just because. If
They still test you?
I got 2 offers to fight this last week.
Huh?
Yeah, from Shelby. But in case something comes up that's interesting, I just stay in testing because I don't do anything anyway. So I'm like, and I have somebody else update my time.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's basically it. So, you know, from the business standpoint of being a fighter, it's a hard way to make a living, man. It really is. And you know that. How many fights have you had in the UFC now?
Someone called me a veteran the other day, and I feel definitely.
Oh yeah, you're
veteran. That's that little Patrick Gray, bro.
Yeah.
And I thought about putting some Just for Men, but
too much work.
Just for Men.
I don't know, man. Maybe like 8.
8 fights? This has been more than that, I feel like.
Probably. But you know what? I personally felt like I lost something. Like I lost that fire, and I lost that crave. I felt like I got comfortable. You know, I don't know what it meant to struggle anymore. That's why I try to detach to feel that again, like getting lost. Like, what does it feel like to not have anything or have anything? Even one time I was planning to be homeless for like a couple of weeks just to see how it is. Just drive. Yeah,
Greg was trying to do that. We were trying to plan.
I know it's weird.
It's called being a businessman.
Yeah, I go camping. That's the closest I get.
But for me, it was psychological. I just wanted to get that mind back. And what I realized is, for every version for every chapter of your life, you know, it requires a different version of you. And now I'm in a different chapter in my life where it's like there's a different inspiration that comes in. And my little brother was like, you inspire kids. You know, you talk to kids. You have a platform to do that with by fighting. So you have a platform, a small window at the end where you can talk or whatever. You know, you should use that because that's what you're good at. And I was like, you know what, you're freaking right. And that's why I feel like where I am. I don't have that, I'm going to kill you, motherfucker. I mean, if we're in the ring, we're going to do that. But I have a different mindset now. You know, I'm getting older. I'm seeing things a lot better. I'm less patient.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's cool. So when you get here, first you say, all right, who I know in the area, you hit up me. Then you got a dinner date, and I'm assuming you're on Tinder.
He had to lock that down.
No. It was a good friend. I was like, yeah, let's have dinner.
Okay, I'm just joking with you, man.
No, you're not. Tinder don't work, man. Tinder got all the ugly girls, and then Bumble just have sophisticated girls for like 30 seconds.
Hey. If I were you and I lived in Jamaica, I would have found the ugly girl with the water pipe. And that would have been a sugar, that'd have been a water mama. Not a sugar mama, a water mama.
Bro, in today's age, it's so hard. If you guys are all booed up, man, congratulations. To find a significant other, especially if they're your best friends, which I hope, it's so hard. I had an opportunity, I lost it with my best friend, but it's one of the most rarest, precious things. And for me, you know, it's something that I'm looking for. But again, it was a time that I had that I feel like I can never get it back. But if you have it, man, hold on to that shit.
I met that girl. I met that girl too.
No, not Karen.
Oh, not Karen.
No, not Karen. Karen's all married
Karen's
now.
cool too, though.
She's cool. She got a kid now and
she's
stuff.
She's cool. Oh, that's cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there, if you know someone that might be a good match for darker Uriah.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Darker
he's looking for a water mama. Mama.
I'm good. I got to fall in love with me first before I can love anybody else. You know?
I like that. Can we hear, just before we wrap this bad dog up, can we hear some Jamaican talk, like a full little paragraph rant? I want a nice, smooth, where you're trying to talk to a girl. Where you're trying to convince her to like come hang out with you and don't let anybody know.
I need a girl. Can we get a girl from outside or something?
Yeah. Grab someone.
Could you grab someone?
She gotta look good. Like it's gotta work where she looks good. You know, don't tell her I said that.
All right. So we want to hear you where you're trying to tell this girl, hey, come on over here and let's hang out, but don't let anybody know. And then I'll put another.
Come over here. Don't let anybody know we're hanging out.
Yeah.
She's in the full.
Why she's all shy?
I'm always shy.
Don't be shy. All right, so
We're speaking Jamaican here, so just try to stay.
Just act like you love it and you're getting all excited when I talk. All right, so for what I've seen, experienced, like for a Jamaican guy to approach a girl, especially if she's a lighter skin tone, she's not from Jamaica, it'd be like, "Hey, wagwan, pretty white girl." That would be like the first introduction. Like, you've been here before, and they'd be like, "Oh my God," and then like I'll compliment her, like, "I like your dress, man. You look very nice. Oh, your ear looks so pretty," And then depending on however she responds, I'll talk and like, "You've been here before," and we'll go from there.
That's all. Okay, now
did it work?
Can you get the thing? Yes. Yeah. So what are some of these conversations? Okay, now she's trying to pick up on you, and you're telling her you're not interested. Go. You're not interested.
But she's got to say something. All right. So say you're not interested. Wait.
No. You're not. You're asking. Hey, what's up with you? Can we hang out sometime?
Hey, can we hang out sometime?
No, man. I don't like you, man. Go from yassa. More from yassa, man. I don't like little white girls.
I like that. Thank you for helping out.
Thank you so much. Sorry.
Yeah.
You look great.
That's funny, man. So is that how you spoke your majority of your life?
Well, there's proper Jamaican, and then there's patois, like we.
Like you're saying,
English,
I couldn't even understand you.
Yeah, like you'd be like, Negro, what? So
I want to hear some
Jamaican,
of that.
Yeah.
Tell this guy to stay off your land and get off your water pipe. Go hike across the desert, get your own water.
You said water pipe.
That sounds so bad.
That's racist.
Tell this guy, hey, get your own fucking water pipe.
All right, so a proper Jamaican is like, damn, I can't even. My mom does it really well. Hey, I don't like the way you're using my pipe, I want you to stay away from it because it's not yours, all right? That's like a proper Jamaican. It's like a little Englishy, but we got the flavor. And a darker Jamaican's like, hey, boy, I'm going to tell you, don't come on there, sir. If you come on there, sir, again, you see, I'm going to mash up your bumbo clot,
That's what I was looking for. Yep. All right, bro. Hey, thanks for coming into town, man. And thanks for thinking of me to hit me up. I always like to host.
Thank you guys.
And hopefully I'll see you tonight.
Yeah, hopefully.
Halloween.
Halloween. Do I have to wear a costume?
No.
Are you wearing a costume?
Yeah, I'll put a mask on or something. Yeah.
I have a costume, but if you're wearing a costume, I'll wear my
everyone will
costume.
probably be wearing costumes. Yeah.
Okay, I have a Kuma. I got to borrow his wig.
Kuma. Okay, man, bring your Kuma, but get the fuck out, though.
I don't know what the fuck that was.
That was his best attempt.
I did my best.
Send him to
that
All right,
was American.
It's American. All right, guys, thanks for listening in. Uriah, where can I find you on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff?
That's just my real name, Uriah Hall. There's a bunch of other Uriahs, but the black
And
one.
you have your own podcast.
Yes, it's called Hall Pass. Right now, it's just playing some stations. I'm doing my filling for the stuff. So
Okay.
Nice.
Check him out,
Hall
man.
Pass.
Real deal. And look out for his book and his life story.
Stay black.
Where he didn't kill a bunch of people from getting beat up.
People.
And made a good life out of it.
And I met Uriah.
That's it. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.
Cool.